The Huskies band back together after missing two key components to the USA World Juniors team. Both Motzko and Ashawn return, and the Huskies will be at full strength as they hit the road to take on the Bulldogs of Minnesota-Duluth. Welcome to the St. Cloud State Husky Hockey Weekend Preview. I'm Megan Hedstrom. Alongside me is Mick Hatton from the St. Cloud Times. Now, I'm sure most of the hockey world heard the news about the USA World Juniors team, which was coached by Bob Motzko himself. Coming into this weekend, what kind of coaching adjustments does Motzko need to make?
Well, it's probably getting back into a little bit more of his regimen and what he wants to do. I mean, he's spent the better part of a month kind of in and out of a suitcase and working on teams he'd never seen before. Here he's back into a team that they've already seen this season. That's something that hasn't happened for St. Cloud State up until this point. This is the first repeat series that we've seen out of the season, but they'll get right back into it. I don't think they've changed a whole lot, on the time that Bob was away. They just need to tweak a few things.
And without their head coach present last weekend, the Huskies found themselves with two losses against Miami University. What went wrong for them?
Well, I didn't think they played bad, either night. I thought Jeff Smith played well in goal both nights. They had a lead, on Friday night. They took a 5-minute major. Jacob Benson took a 5-minute major, and Miami ended up pulling their goalie and scoring on the power play with less than a minute left in regulation, and then they got a power play goal in the overtime. Some debate as to whether or not it should have been a major, some debate whether or not it should have been a penalty. Can't put yourself in that situation. Saturday night, I thought they made a couple of bad mistakes. They gave up a shorthanded goal early on to get behind. And they were down 2-0. Got back into the game with a goal by Jake Wallen. Less than a minute later, they got another penalty. And Miami ends up coming back and beating them. So they made some bad mistakes at bad times. That was kind of the key in that series.
Let's talk a little bit about that goaltending. It seems as though the Huskies are kind of in a back and forth on who the fans can expect to see in net. Let's compare Smith and Driscoll.
Well, Zach kind of had a stretch there where he was kind of the guy, for probably 3 straight weekends. Zach was kind of the starting goalie. For whatever reason, I mean, it didn't really stick entirely, or they decided to make the change. Jeff Smith kind of came in relief, if you remember, and kind of did a nice job. Won the next game against Nebraska Omaha. Now he's started the 5 straight games now going into the series. Jeff's a little bit more of a stand-up goalie. I think he's kind of settled in a little bit more. Zach's a little bit more of an athletic goalie. He's going to be better, a little bit better side to side, and kind of attacking people. Jeff's a little bit more of a positional goalie, and there's a contrast in styles, and it's just a matter of which one of the guys is really going to step up here.
Now this weekend, the Huskies head to Duluth to take on the Bulldogs. They've already taken these guys on once this season, and they got swept. What kind of things do they need to improve on?
Well, they led 3-1 in both games. If you remember on the Friday night game, they were up 3-1 in the first period and ended up losing 5-3. Up 3-1 on the second night in the second period and ended up losing 5-3. Robbie Jackson had goals, the first goals of the game in both nights. So that playing with a lead, I mean, if they get a lead, they need to figure out how to make that stick a little bit better. The other thing about UMD when you're looking at this series, 5-1 when they lead after the first period, 8-0 when they lead after the second. You want to give yourself a chance by getting a lead and holding on to it through the end of a period.
Leading the team for the Bulldogs is senior Alex Iafallo with 10 goals so far on the season. Let's talk a little bit about his presence on the ice for Duluth.
Well, he's a senior and one of the guys that has just been so productive throughout his career. I think he's one of those players that's gotten better as throughout his career at UMD. A guy that is a good distributor, but obviously with 10 goals, I mean he's being productive with putting the puck in the net. He's typically been on the top line for UMD this season. A guy that St. Cloud's going to have to find out where he is on the ice whenever he's out there.
Seeing as though the Huskies didn't come away with the favorite outcome the last time they saw these guys, how do these two teams stack up against each other now that they have a little bit more game experience under their belts?
Well, both teams are kind of coming off of interesting weekends. Colorado College gave UMD all kinds of fits at home last weekend, including beating them on Saturday night. So I think UMD is going to be a little bit owly from that. St. Cloud State coming off a road sweep at Miami, that's going to grab the attention of the coaching staff and the players. So, both teams, St. Cloud State didn't have a great weekend on special teams. Special teams weren't a big part of the series last time. UMD didn't have a power play goal in the series. St. Cloud State only had 1 power play goal and 9 chances. Is it going to be a special teams battle? If it is, who's going to step up there?
Puck drop is set for 7:07 on Friday and 7:07 on Saturday as well. Fans can listen to the game on 96.7 The Rev. That's all for this week's Husky Hockey Weekend Preview. Thanks for joining me, Nick.
Thank you.